Hey, welcome to Graphic Policy Television GBTV. I'm Brett. In my hands is Bylines in Blood #2. Really fascinating series. I'm digging it. I think it's pretty cool. Written by Aneke Schultz and Jensen. Aneke is the artist. Cardinal Rae is the letter. So the story is about this girl named Satya, who is a former journalist turned private detective. They keep calling her Lady Dick, which is, I think, nice giggling. It's the future. And things aren't going well. We have a corrupt politician, a kooky cult, and a world not dissimilar from ours. In this case, there was a pandemic. It's left the haves and have-nots and, of course, rocked the world. Some people impacted by the pandemic have their skin is turned white. And they have albinoism. I guess that would be the term and the way to go about it, describing it. They're also really into technology and videotaping stuff and live streaming things. And Satya's boss was murdered, and he was looking into the corruption of the mayor. So the question was the mayor behind it. So yeah, I mean, it kind of throws out there this issue hints at a lot, but I never trust these sort of stories. I'm fully expecting some twists and turns, and not everything is as it seems. Even though, of course, she's convinced that the mayor is behind the murder. I'm not so convinced just because it's a little too straightforward, right? Oh, so what I'm liking about the series, it's just a really good detective story. Plays with the tropes, gets some good action, interesting situations, interesting characters. I think a pretty solid person at the center of it. Good mystery, all of that. It's a lot what I like. The setting, I think, is kind of cool. Kind of get a Blade Runner vibe of it, but not quite as futuristic. But I think the underneath themes and what it's a touching upon is really, really interesting. I mentioned, I think, in my first interview that this seems to really talk about the failure of the institutions that are supposed to protect us. In this case, the mayor, religion, the police force, and it's being picked up by this detective who, is a former journalist, a former worked in newspaper. So the fact that this institution that is again supposed to protect us is stepping up to root out the corruption. There's clearly something there, based off of, I think, reactions of the writers that I got on Twitter, that I'm not that far off in my assessment. And I think I'm really kind of digging that. This feels like a twisted version of our world, taken a little bit to the extreme, but more exploring the stuff that we aren't willing to discuss. Things are jacked up because of COVID. A lot spinning out of this. We have new religions spinning out of this, and the new religion being things like the convoy and QAnon and every little crazy kooky thing that seems to come up. And there's institutions that are supposed to protect us up against that and make decisions about protecting us against COVID and figuring out new ways for society to function aren't doing that, and it is taking some really odd elements to maybe step up in its place. Journalists are sort of doing that. There's I think new form of journalism that is looking at all that and asking the questions. But again, the bigger institutions are failing us. The traditional mass media, our politicians, our local governments, our police, everyone is not quite doing their job. And I think that's what a lot of the series is exploring. So to be living through that and then also reading this, I think is a very intriguing read. The opening is kind of cool. There's someone in an invisible suit who's attacking our heroine. Clearly he is probably, or it, we don't know if he or she is probably the murderer, and why they were not picked up on cameras. So that's, I think, it's another thing I really like, is what is reality, and how do we define that, because it seems to be exploring that as well. Overall, really liking the series. I think the art's cool, the story's cool. If you like detective stories, especially like a Blade Runner sense, I think you're going to dig this. There's just this really nice, moral debate underpinning that I think is also kind of in Blade Runner as well, that is making the series very intriguing and much more than just your average detective story trope. Overall, I'm really liking it. I can't wait to see where it goes. Not convinced the mayor is guilty. Right now I'm putting that out there. I didn't do this with Serial, of what or not Serial, whatever. There was something I was predicting, and I was just like, what the ending is, and I was pretty sure. Oh, Search for Who. That was it. I didn't put out my prediction for Search for Who. I'm putting out at least this. I don't think the mayor did it. He's corrupt, absolutely, but I don't think him or his thugs did it. They might not. They might know who did, but I don't think they're the ones that actually did it. So yeah. Check it out if you, as I said, if you like detective stories, if you like little futuristic detective stories. Really, this is a really cool series so far. Out now in comic shops, you can go get it. We got a link beneath this video. Put in your zip code. Tell the comic shops near you. No shop, no problem. We do have some links. There'll be affiliate links, so we get a small percentage by doing that. You'll support our site. And speaking of support, I want to thank AfterShock for hooking us up with the review copy, and of course, thank you all for watching. If you are into comics, check us out every single day at graphicpolicy.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, and Instagram, all at Graphic Policy, keeping it nice and consistent. Until next time, keep reading those comics and keep it geeky. Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.